Oh, did I start it? Hey, how's it going? Oh, that's not the right height at all. Let me see if we do this. That's better. Okay, so please look at my signs. That's too much glare. It's too much glare for me. Well, there's nothing to be done about it. So, yeah, seriously, how's it going? I don't know about you, but it's been rough. Energy-wise, it's been rough. You may be able to tell that I'm sick. You know, it's winter. Of course, it's winter, and I live in the north, of the United States. But something about the cold. I don't know if it's like my personal physical condition or the quality of the cold. I'll tell you one thing though. It is a lot drier here than it was when I moved here. I haven't even thought about it for a while. It's been over 30 years since I moved here from California though, and it is just there's not as much precipitation as there used to be, and so it's cold. And what they used to say all the time when I first moved here was, "Oh, it never snows." And it snowed the first year I moved here, and for the next consecutive set of years until it skipped a year. And it wasn't anything like back east snow, but well, it was, a great novelty for me because I'm from Southern California. I'm from Hollywood. It may have snowed there lately, but it didn't when I was there. Anyway, there's been a lot of unsettling, disquieting things going on, and to one degree or another, I think most of us people from the United States are being affected. It's like you can't dodge it. There's a bullet you just are having a hard time, or everyone is, stepping out of the way of, and it's we're not used to that kind of thing. But it looks like we better start getting used to it though, because kind of all of the things that you don't want in your peaceful civilization, with the violence and the unfriendly people, you want you want less of that. You want things to fall more into the pleasant people and passive and calm and nice. Not greedy, don't want to force anything on you or from you. Soy people, if you will. Please. So I pulled some cards, and I didn't really write anything for this particular video, but I wrote down little things that came to mind that were kind of like just this. You should write this down. So let me find it. I have a story though about me and one of the people making my life, making me question its existence, is Elon Musk, the man that everyone is talking about so much. And it starts out where I was on Twitter, and then he bought it and it became X, and I did not have a really terrible experience there. I wasn't attacked hardly ever if I said anything. Um, I kind of just wasn't talking about stuff where things to fight about came up, really, like, maybe there was some disagreement about metal bands or metal songs, or nothing important though, or some kind of entertainment thing like superhero movie canon disagreement, or, well, I wouldn't be disagreeing. I'd be going, well, I like everything. I'm just glad there's a something of whatever the genre is, as opposed to a nothing, because I don't know if this falls on deaf ears or not, but I can remember when there was not an internet and there was not a cable and like all of this stuff. This is like, oh my god, there's so much. Like, to me, it's great. Even if it's bad, like, you think stuff was good back then? There was good stuff, but the rare gems, man, because the genres hadn't been perfected, the special effects hadn't been perfected, and everything took longer, but maybe it's nostalgia, but also I think that made things better. So even the bad stuff was, comparatively pretty good. I don't know, like, if those were your choices, like, it was what it was, I guess. So anyway, I'm on Twitter having, like, fine experience, pretty good experience, and it's turned to X, and I started noticing, like, first somebody told me that my written posts that I was sharing from other platforms were not appearing, or the links weren't working. So one was WordPress, and I guess they had some kind of dispute where you couldn't just auto share like you could when it was Twitter, and I don't know what the problem was, but there was some issue, and then I just found a different way to do it, and then somebody that I got to know from just being on there and corresponding with each other a lot for like a few years now, I guess, and she said, "Oh, what happened to your posts from whatever?" And I was like, "What do you mean? I've been posting them." She's like, "Oh, those links don't work." And I said, "Well, how long has that been happening?" And she told me for like way longer than I certainly wanted it to be, and I was kind of dismayed by it, and I was just like, okay, well, let me send you this other link. And then I did, and it was like, okay, now I gotta do that every time I write something, and usually it didn't seem like they even picked it up. So I was like, well, I didn't have to do this by hand before. I don't think I like that, but I didn't like complain to the management or anything, because I knew who the management was, and I just didn't think he was going to hear anything from me, no matter what it was. And so, it wasn't like that big of a deal. I moved on with my life, and I ended up getting a second platform where I share what I've written, and so that link did work. And then it started getting weird, but while all that's going on, meanwhile, like, my feed, my time on there that I spent was fine. I had people that, it's art, music. On Twitter, there's like a lot of food stuff. Entertainment of all kinds, and books, movies, not so much stage stuff. I'm not really versed in that at all, but superhero, sci-fi, spy, thriller, action thing. Just conversations. Like, it was fun, it was pleasant. And so, while I'm having a pretty decent time on there, I'm also watching on my YouTube my alternative news sites, and they're like, oh, it's a hellhole, it's war, it's terrible, we get death threats and people blah 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 bothering us all the time, it's the worst. And I was like, I don't have that experience. I wonder and I'm sorry, but I was what is the word? I don't want to use the word sarcastic, but I can't think of the one I mean. So I was kind of sarcastic in my thoughts to myself that nobody else could hear anyway. I don't have that experience on there. But you know why you do? Because of what you're talking about. Because they're talking about the news and politics and stuff that makes people mad and want to argue angrily. And I was like, I don't really have that on my... I don't really have that in my feed. Like, that's why. And I never said it to them because, for the most part of these people that I'm referring to, it's their business, It's what they do every day because it's their job, and I think that they have a passion for it. So anyway, it was still fine, but I'm hearing like news about it on those same sites, kind of, and also some regular broadcast stuff too, and just overseas, just all kinds of news everywhere. So I'm seeing like what is going on in the parts that I don't visit on there and didn't visit, and I was like, oh wow, that's pretty awful. And then one day I got a request from someone to do a direct message, and I look at it and it's all Campbell Musk, and I'm all, the same Musk? I didn't even know he had siblings. So I accepted the request, and here's what he wanted. He said that Elon wanted me to go to Telegram and tell him what a good job he was doing with Twitter. I'm trying to remember verbatim what he said, and verbatim what I said was, I'll give that some thought, thanks. And then he went away, and I was like, whew. Because, yeah, I don't know if you caught any of the nuance there, but it was twofold. I was both not at all interested in doing that, and I would definitely be thinking about it, because why me? But that was it. For the rest of the time that I was there, I thought that was it. Like, I'm back to being a nobody, then why should he even care? I'll just be quiet over here, humble little mouse. And, somebody on, I think it was somebody on Twitter, actually, that said, hey, it's getting like real nasty here. Do you know that he just opened up the ability for people who you blocked, that everybody can see that you blocked them, or something heinous like that? I was all, ooh, that sounds bad. I had like way more blocked people than I have followers, or that I followed. I was like, well, that could be uncomfortable, because you block people for a lot of reasons. Like, one person I blocked, I really liked their account, But I didn't. I'm not like you may have figured out. I'm not good at the technical stuff, and so this account had a lot of followers. And then if you made a comment, and then every comment that came after on that same question came to your inbox, it was like, oh my god, I'm so done talking about this. I mean, it would be going on for weeks. I'd be getting messages from this conversation, and I didn't figure out how to, turn that off until I had already gotten fed up with it and was like, oh my god, I love this account, but bye. And I just blocked it. I was like, get out of here. And, I know that's sad. But anyway, I just thought that would be bad, though. And it was also starting to sound like just domestic violence world there. Like, that was kind of the vibe. And makes sense, because I mean, the people that Musk is breaking into the government with are like really young guys, and it makes me kind of sad. Like, they're not getting better when they're younger. They're coming out bitter and angry earlier. And like, God, that sucks. The fuck happened to these people? That was an aside. So anyway, I took this person's advice and went ahead and left, but I had been wanting to leave for a while anyway, because I didn't want to pay, and there were so many things like all of a sudden I couldn't do that I had been able to do for like a year, like around 10 years. And so I was like, well, this just isn't doing it for me anymore. And I tried to go to other sites when everybody else was leaving on like one of the first waves of people walking away from Twitter, and I couldn't figure out how to get on Mastodon, and I couldn't figure out how to get back onto MySpace. MySpace was all, it's not your space anymore, it's my space, and you can't come. And then I couldn't find very many, even though I would look. I guess I needed to look like more pages into the search or something, because then I'd get all frustrated and stop looking and just be all, okay, I guess I'm just here. Twitter and Facebook, actually, which, same vein of like reasons for staying versus reasons for leaving, and one's more terrible than the other. Same thing for me at Facebook. I don't mess with anything but pretty much people I already know, and I share stuff that I think is funny or beautiful, and otherwise, like, I don't try to talk to strangers. I don't even really try to talk to people I know. It's been too long. And like, it's me, it's not them. I don't know how to be social anymore. Like, anyway, so I was like, okay, fine, I'm leaving. And it was, I started to say coincidentally, I don't know if it is or not. Maybe it is, but I left. I didn't say anything. I wasn't all, I am leaving and going to blah, blah, blah. A lot of people do that. It's like, with me, with like followers that I don't talk to, and they like a couple of few like I would talk to, but most of the people on there, out of like a few hundred or however many it was, I didn't talk to them and they didn't talk to me, and I was fine with that. Like, we shared each other's stuff, we liked or didn't like, maybe made a comment on that, but I didn't need more than that. They didn't seem to. It was fine. That's pretty much what I wanted from it. Although, then he started, Musk, when he bought it, started making all these things, and you had to pay to get stuff, and you can't edit, and unless you buy, and that, I don't know, just came. So I ended up leaving the day before the election. And I went to Blue Sky, which I really like and I really enjoy, although I hate to be a party pooper, but it has been growing in those leaps and bounds you hear about since I've been on there. And I once again just have a public open feed and nothing too demonstrative or declarative in my profile box information thing, whatever you call that. And so and then I just you know I'm an opportunist feeder. Whatever goes by, I want to engage with it, or I don't, or I'm like, I really don't, and I block it. They have a mute function, which I thought I liked it first, but now I think I don't, because I got muted immediately when I tried to follow someone, and they're like, you can follow, but I don't want to hear any of your nonsense. And I was like, oh. So I was like, never mind, I'll just leave him alone. And I thought, I think it's better to just block them instead of... That mute is like aggressive. My gosh, my voice sounds like I'm screaming. But it also sounds like I'm screaming in a bucket. So, back to the story. So I go to Blue Sky, and I'm enjoying myself. And I started to say... this actually does apply, I think. I started to say before, I don't want to be a party pooper, but it was pretty small, and I liked it small. I was like, no, I don't want people from X to Fleet here. They're coming from X. Although you could have said that about me. But the ones that came were partisan, like, either way. And I didn't... This makes me sad. Like, the ones that were partisan to the right, I think this may be why... I don't know what it is, and I don't know why it is, but I think this may be why people didn't mess with me on Twitter, is because I immediately started getting, like... a cabinet member from Trump's new cabinet followed me, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be hostile to you, but I also, like, totally don't like what you stand for, so I don't think I can let this stand, and I just blocked him. And a Fox host did, and I had to, that was like, oh man, I really, couldn't do it. I'm not that evolved. I hope to be someday where I can just be all friends with people that say all kinds of crazy shit and be just fun with it. I'm not there yet. So, anyway, I found that, like I was saying, there's partisans from the right and the left, and I get some from the left, a lot of names you would have heard of. A lot of people have followed me and then seen my feed and gone, oh no, no. And a couple have stayed around, which I appreciate, thank you very much. But it's an interesting mix. Yes, grow, but I don't know how it's gonna stay sweet the way it has been, and like, well, I don't let conversations about politics and that in. Like I was saying, I just block it. So anyway, I'm on there having an interesting time, and access to people who you normally wouldn't, and that's been like a real feature of everything online I've noticed, is the access to people you normally wouldn't have access to, that you can actually get to talk to you, like, oh my god. And then I don't go out of my way to talk to these people. I know that they have enough people standing them and bothering them and stalking them, etc., etc. This actually got me in trouble with someone I really like one time on Twitter. I don't want to crowd them. Like, I'm going to admire them from a distance and give them their space. But, like, I can be really enthusiastic, and that often is mistaken for things that it is not often. So that's, I don't know how to tune that. But anyway, it's a fine mix. So again, public feed, and I have a friend request, and I look at it, and it's Elon Musk, and I was like, oh no, he's here. And the day I got it, I had, it was the day after I had retweeted an article about Doge agency and called it douche. And, oh, and the other thing that I'm pretty sure he saw, because that day I had just said, I keep having to block people with X energy. So he had followed me, and I was all, I don't follow back very often, because if you follow back, then people can talk to you privately. And what I find happens, and it's a lot like what happens with my feed, where I say something or like something that someone happens to like for whatever reason, and then they look at my profile and go, oh my god, no. Because not everybody wants to see what I have in my feed sometimes. It's not like porn or anything. It's just stuff that people just tend to go, I don't believe in that. So, and that's cool. And I don't know if it's because I have it there, or if it's because I have it there and I clearly believe it, that makes them go running. But could be a lot of things, because also happens on Facebook, where I'm only dealing with people I know pretty much, and they're running for the hills too, so no one's explaining. Theories abound. So anyway, like, I wasn't ever going to respond. I was never going to, like, anything, like, he could follow me, and I could see his feed, and he could have something that I would like, although that seems highly unlikely. But if it were the case where it was someone whose feed I wanted to see, I wouldn't be trying to talk to him. I promise you. I don't even try to talk to people that are not famous very much. I let the other people lead. Like, again, see the feed and decide if you want to talk to this person. That's all I'm saying. So, But, okay, so here's the thing, though, about Elon Musk and the weird proximity. The guy wants to get rid of Social Security, which means that he would literally be putting me out of house and home, and money, and food, and medical care, and this life has been fucked up physically. Yeah, it wouldn't be great. So, I mean, I have been hesitant to talk about it in that much detail, because he's easily offended, apparently, and retaliatory, and it's like, I don't want to offend that person. It might be too late, but at that time I didn't know what the risks were that were involved. So that's the end of the story. So here are the words that or little phrases or whatever that I just randomly had written down. Just because it happens to you doesn't mean it always happens. Hummingbirds at the feeder look cute and sweet, but look at those beaks. They love the sweet water, but have you seen them like fighting over at a feeder, like to get at the the sugar water, the sweet juice, to get the nectar? Oh God. Yeah. I don't know why, but at that moment and right now I have this vision of like really mean and evil little hummingbirds, and it's kind of like there's something youthful to it, and I certainly have been wondering about, like I just said, I'm sure a few minutes ago, something about how like mean and evil the young people are, where I keep expecting them to be young and nice and sweet. It's like earlier and younger, they're, yeah. I've come into contact with some little people and their mothers, and they've just had some things said to me with nothing from the mother about that I would have heard, like, you can't say that to adults, or like, you're in so much trouble, shut your mouth, or a swat on the butt, or nothing. Just like, I don't know how old this kid was, 3 or 4, and he said the most kind of just rude and horrible thing, and it was like a really adult kind of, I guess, insult, slur kind of a situation. I don't know exactly. I had headphones on, thank God, so I didn't hear all of it, but I heard enough to just go, wow, what did I ever do to you? And his mother just stand there. It wasn't an embarrassed smile. I was just like, really, bitch? Anyway, and so the other thing is seen need to be breaking free. Sorry. Seen, comma, need to be, comma. Breaking free of the need to be seen. My writing is very it's being hard to be seen. I think I was trying to write in the dark, but yeah, it's like seen, the need to be seen, breaking free of the need to be seen. Okay. Oh, 4 points of the crooked. What was that? I just remember one time I was talking to this kid, this other kid. We were both kids, and I was pointing at something, and he was like, he's like, that's not how you point. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm thinking I'm just pointing my finger. Like, this one does it normal. With this one, okay, so now it's doing it normal. When you saw it, you can back up and you can see you had some kind of Frankenclaw situation. I don't know. But it was funny when he was, you can't point right. I'm like, what? You pointed wrong. I guess you have to be there. Sorry. No, I'm not. Alright, so bring it down. I did pull some cards from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. And let's see here. So what I was kind of thinking about when I when I pulled them was there's been like a lot of kind of jolts in my personal life, kind of coming in from the outside. Although, in at least one case, I did it my own self. I did it to myself. um, but made like serious changes on my, by my own hand in my own life. And so it's pretty decent, it's pretty drastic, but I think it's been 3 days where I've just kind of been like, just like remember how to breathe, and it's been like, I don't know about you, I have been having the hardest time meditating. Like the energies from everything that can emit an energy are insane, and all of a sudden I'm so sensitive. Oh my gosh! But first, like the thing I did that kind of rocked my own world in a way, an intense way, and then I get help. I get a person that comes from the state, and they come and like give me human company because I don't have all that, and help me with my shopping or doctor appointments. It's a caregiver from the state, and I have just had the worst time since last year holding on to and having a decent one, which the bar is low. The bar is low. I don't want you here that long. I don't want you here that much. I just want to help with what I, need help with, and the problem, here's the number one problem that I've been having with that, is that I couldn't keep a regular one. The one that I had for a long time didn't want to come to work. And so, oh shoot, I just remembered something I need to do. Well, anyway, she had like an absentee deal, and I was like, cool, because again, I don't want you here that long, and I don't want you here that much, and I really like this one. But she just kept being gone on the day that I got paid, and also need to go shopping, and it's like, damn, every time, like for months, the day, and when you get paid once a month and you're getting like the dole, you are not getting like luxury checks, okay? You're getting just enough. If you are like really stingy and you don't need anything and you don't like stuff, if you just come home and put yourself in the recharging closet until the next day, you're good to go. I have needs. So anyway, I got all funny and forgot what I was saying. Why was I putting myself in the recharging closet? What the hell was I even talking about? Oh no, not again. Well, I just know that, like, oh yeah, life stressful thing I did to myself, and then something else in the world. Yeah, well, like the Musk and the Social Security thing, but kind of Trump and everything, and like all of his people he's got working for him now, they have this, diagram they're working from, this 2025 plan, and then it was designed as like a multi-tiered sort of attack plan. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, they say they're putting things right, but it seems just spiteful and mean, and like they're not, like, the aggrievements are such bullshit. I don't believe them. It's just like they want to be they want to, like, take out all of their, like, what animus against, like, whoever they have it against, with, you know, no questions asked, with all freedom. They don't want to have to report that the stuff they made breaks in case it kills people or hurts people, because they don't want to pay the hospital bills. They don't want to, like, have food safety, so we already got people, so many people get sick. Planes falling out of the sky because something's wrong with air traffic controllers. Like, that's being done wrong, so all the businessmen are going to go tell them how to do that right. Do they even know what it... Have they looked that up? Air traffic controller? What you'll find there is someone that takes years of the making to create. Ooh. So dry. Anyway. So when I pulled these, I was just thinking, like, okay, let me try to assemble my brain here. I was thinking of the way that I was feeling so shook from, like, my personal thing and, like, the other thing that I talked about, and there's plenty of things out in the world right now to feel about. And here's another thing too, is that the sensitive thing, the feeling sensitive thing has been crazy today. I have had times just sitting here, like, looking at some show that is like a private detective show. It's not a comedy, and I'm watching it and I'm like I want to sob. I feel so sad. I'm just like, oh my God. Just, and out of the blue, because a second ago I was like I am right now, like, not sobbing, not sad, just kind of engrossed in my show, slightly distracted by my cat, you know, but not sad. And then also, like, big smile on my face, and I'm so happy. All of a sudden, I'm like, what the hell is that? I ain't happy. I'm not unhappy, but I'm not like that. So, I mean, I'm like, it's not like that hasn't happened before. It's happening more and more, but it's been, like, super intense. So with all of that kind of stuff, like, in my mind, that's when I pulled cards. And so the first one I got was Cosmic Womb. And you know, obviously a womb implies birth, and the subtitle on this one is the Divine Feminine, and the number is number 6. And so the Divine Feminine part definitely resonates, because what I did was, you know, on my own behalf in my personal life, that both rocked me to my core and also needed to be done, was definitely on the level of the Divine Feminine, establishing boundaries and you know, putting the word down. The next card, I'm gonna, I think, come back and talk about the first one. The next card is number 51. Stars in the Sky, Limitless Possibility. So, I'm struck right now by the figure meditating position on the bridge there, with the streaks of energy that, to me, they look like they're going up, but I feel like also it's a connection to spirit. And the way the physical form looks doesn't actually look physical to me. It looks astral, like a projection. And you'll notice that it's like nighttime up here, like it's a dream or something, because down here it's like daytime. Two worlds of perception, I guess. That's what I'm getting. It looks like there's a moon back there, and so you have like the relative clarity of the daytime, but you still have obviously like sort of rough terrain that you're once you cross under the bridge and make your way forward, that's what you're running into. And I don't see much of roads or paths there, so you got a hard way to go, but maybe that's just how it is. It's just the way you have to go. But at the same time, you're, I guess, all up in your head in like the dream time. And I feel like there's a moon here, although this also is like a kind of a moon, not part of this background, but that implies sort of not clarity. I don't know, one's clear and one's like dreamy and not clear and not even like grounded in this world, if that's astral, with these little leads going off into space. I don't know. Two sides of the same coin, I guess. Kind of how we are. It's interesting that there's the endless possibility, because that, like I said, there's no road or paving there. You're like forging your own new way through there. I don't know. This is all about birth, so it's like I feel like it's talking about new beginnings. And the sort of unclear nature of the unborn, the unformed, it's like, it's so new, it hasn't even decided what it is or what it's about yet. But I feel like that's more talking about going forward in this world where, like, you're constantly getting shook and having to, like, meanwhile life is still going on and you're having to continue, like, all fractured, like your piece is kind of afloat inside of you. So the next card is the number 55 card. The farther gate, bold step forward. More, do we need coaxing? Does a house have to fall on us? Progressing, more like, the farther gate is the title of this card. The subtitle is bold step forward. So I feel like that's kind of in keeping with the underneath the bridge part, where it's previously untraveled, so you have to make your own way, which would be taking a bold step forward, like pioneering. Here it's like you've arrived somewhere, and it's interesting the way the sun is coming in, like, beautiful angelic light blessing your path. Have you arrived at your magical dream home, or is it your home? And not just the son, like, hey, so happy to see you made it. It's a step up anyway. Notice the condition of that bridge. It's very old, very well used. You're at a gate here. You got a much fancier situation. Looks like you even have more wrought iron situation or something going on up ahead down this road. Oh yeah, that's like a fancy archway. Is that, or is it at the house? Because I think there's a house beyond there too. No, it's a gate. Somewhere back there is an estate. Ooh la la, so fancy. A step up, a move forward. So that sounds good, right? Because, you know, the thing to keep in mind, well, this particular brand of change that's happening, like all at once, like everything all at once, everything everywhere all at once, like literally in the world, there's all these blisters of rebellion and rich people chicanery, protest. Again, I don't know why they're so mad at the underclass, but they are pissed at us. You know, we can't say nothing, we can't think nothing, the women we can't have this, we can't have that. In fact, what we do have, they gotta have it too, which is nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So, the next card is the crossing. And the subtitle is Initiation. So, I noticed something that I have never noticed before out of all of the times that I've pulled this particular card. And, again, with the bridge motif. So, the thing about bridges is that they're meant to join one end of something to the other. So if we're going to put that in a metaphor for people, it is something that is in dire need of societies all over the world. All of our little blisters or big blisters, we need to like bridge the difference gaps so we can stop all the fighting and blowings up of each other. But with the progress and the going forward and the making bridges and the steps up, here's yet another one on the bridge, another doorway to step through from one side of something being one way to the other side of something where everything is completely different. There is a dang portal on this card I never noticed before. Look at that circle and that blast of light coming out. You ever see Stargate? The Stargates, when they are like turning off and on, powering off and on, I always thought it looked like a toilet flush. I can't be the only one who stopped that. You don't believe me? Go check it out. Go. I think you can see it on Amazon. Or might be on Paramount. Pretty sure it is on Amazon. Well, anyway, you know how to work a search bar. If you're interested, go check it out. But I just thought that was funny. By the way, Stargate is like one of my all-time favorites. Not snake shows. Sci-fi shows. Because it has all of this stuff in it that I can't talk about it right now, but I think if you look on my page, I've done a Spirit TV critic review on it, and that would be somewhere, but it would say Spirit TV critic on Stargate. Anyway, a portal and a Stargate gets you from point A, using the Stargate analogy, where you're on the base inside of Cheyenne Mountain, which is a real military installment, although, I mean, who the heck knows what all is in there. And in the show, it goes down into the ground, which the military bases all over the United States are rumored to do. Anyway, this is about us. And, you know, there was a video that I had watched earlier, and it is from the Eye of Wisdom channel on YouTube. And they often have these striking thumbnails. I don't know, I call them title cards, but it's what you see when you're scrolling, so you can choose, like, oh, I want that one with the bright colors and the bombastic headlines. And so, oh, pardon me, this channel tends to have those, and I've talked about the alarming reds and yellows, and it's always way way less alarming than it's clickbait. But it's fine. Like, I'm gonna link it, because get past that. Come on, get it together. Get past that. The way it looks on the outside, it has good things to say, particularly about, like, what happens to be happening astronomically, astrologically, in other ways that you're not going to find on the news. And so it was talking about an asteroid that's gonna, it has twice the chance of hitting us, although, you know, he's like, it's not gonna hit us. And I'm like, well, then why'd you say that? So I already know, like, nothing's gonna hit us. People that are psychic and stuff have talked about it, and they're like, stuff's gonna come by, nothing's gonna hit us, nothing's gonna land on Earth. And so, but the thing is, and they talk about this, and this is why I went ahead and put it up, or I will. Let me remind myself. I need to find something else to write. Oh, real funny. Oh, it's not stopped. I'm going to write it where I'll remember to do it. I just have to put it on here. So, okay, that video, what they talk about is this asteroid coming very close. Well, that happens all the time, but the size of the asteroids matter. Meteorites or whatever, meteors. I guess this one is big enough that I did actually see, after I watched that video, another channel that's news talking about it, and of course the news channel was like, oh my god, you guys get totally afraid it's gonna hit, maybe, like, and then they'll speculate, like, is it gonna kill, like, all the dinosaurs got killed, and all that kind of inflammatory stuff that scares you and keeps you glued to the stupid TV. So, even if it doesn't hit us, coming near is going to have an effect. And that is what the video talks about. So that's why I'm going to link it. And I still didn't write it down. Link. Asteroid. Video. There's a lot of glare happening here, okay? So, where was I? The initiation, listen, every time you change your mind, you have initiated yourself into a new timeline. Well, I was just gonna say, it doesn't need to be as dramatic as crossing a bridge and entering through a portal at the same time. That's kind of a lot. That literally can be as much as changing your own mind, and that making a huge difference, like a seismic difference. Which is, oh my god, kind of how I've been feeling, like rattled from the inside and rattled from the outside. But you have to go on, like I was saying, like, I have the luxury to take 3 days off and just do nothing and lick my wounds. Although I was still writing, like I didn't just like mummify there, like I was still like around, was just not as happy as I could have been. For reasons. But yeah, I mean, take Stargate, for instance. They're on the base, and then they fire up the Stargate, and they go through, and they're on like a jungle planet, or an ocean planet, or space, like whatever it is. It's a complete change from where you were to where you're headed, and once you get to where you're headed, you have to, like, adapt immediately, like sink or swim. Pretty much, especially like on Stargate, like you better hope your previous military training will save your butt, and that's an initiation into that side of the portal, right? And like I almost feel like that's every change that happens in life. Do you need to have the set dressing of the portal and the bridge? Do you need all of that? I don't think so. I mean, it's nice. It's dramatic for, I don't know, maybe kind of like a signpost kind of thing when you're new to this stuff and you just kind of like, I really need to get a grip on what's happening. I mean, I need to have a picture for that experience to make this make sense. That might be someone. So here's the last card, and it is the number 8 card, Crown Games, right use of power. That doesn't change. The very people I've been talking about here, this can have so many contexts. I don't know who is holding down these big fat heads at the head of the government. Oh my goodness, the elected president, Donald Trump, or the unelected, everyone keeps calling him this. I don't know if it's a great idea. They keep calling Elon Musk the president and Trump the vice president. They need to go back to calling Elon Musk Elonia. So, I mean, supposedly his agency, which was not really legitimate in any way, has now been legitimized, and now they're calling it a real life agency, and whatever. It's not. It's real life. They're trying to funnel money out and into pockets, not ours. And it's like, wait, I told you they're just mad at us and just evil, like, just taking revenge for... Why? What are you going to take revenge on us for? They want to take Social Security, which is money that they took out of our pay, out of our wages. It's like, it's in no way your money, so don't be taking it. And, by the way, South Africa, you just skipped up to the government buffet out of nowhere. Like, you literally have even less connection to that money than Americans that have been trying to steal it forever, that are now your compatriots. But you notice how many South Africans all of a sudden are like all up in our government? I didn't know all these people were South Africans. I didn't know Peter Thiel was. I didn't know David Sachs was. Elon Musk I did. I guess there's more, and it's like, I don't want to play with Sun City. You guys' reputation precede you, and wow. Talk about taken by force. Anyway, subtitle on this card is Right Use of Power. Well, I can't help but notice that the body of the person holding the head with the crown on it, Imperial, kind of looks like Tish James. a very placid Tish James. And it's like, it doesn't make sense that her face would be on the crown, the big fat head that thinks it's royalty, that thinks it is entitled to everything and that everybody is a subject of theirs. And all of these people have all these ideas about other people and what constitutes like possessions and who gets to possess what and who gets to do stuff and whose place is where. And it's like, oh no, see, you can't like just come in on this modern time and land and try to pull this crap. Like, it's just not gonna go over well. And I don't understand a lot of these policies. Like, I understand what good they would do for an adversarial country that this is like, yeah, this is exactly working out the way we planned. It feels like there's the heavy element of that. But it's like we're being kind of disabled and neutered in every possible way, and somehow our own people have turned against us. And the fact that so much South Africa is involved deep up into the business of the United States, I feel like it kind of proves my point that other countries are here like mucking around in our business and our government. And I feel like we've been snookered by the Musks, and the dude is still like, has he ever gotten naturalized? And him and his brother, who think it's so funny to laugh about being illegals, and to then jump on the bandwagon with Americans and be all, yep, we're Americans now because we work in the government and you guys are illegals. Ha ha ha, it's a big joke. I don't know, I'm just finding that I'm not as thrilled by these better people. Like, I don't think that's an accurate caricaturization. Caricature! Yeah, the caricature is right. But, the fact that it is reminding me so much of the judge, this face, I mean, she does conduct herself with dignity, and so it is pop culturally popular to call someone queen or whatever. I would only say that in this case to illustrate the fact that in her line of work, I mean, she's not fearful, she's very confident, and I believe her when she said she's going to do something, and she's been pretty efficient at following through on what she says. Oh, pardon me. It's almost like it's like she's like, I'm showing you who the real royalty is, even though she doesn't have more money than God like these people. What she does have is integrity, and the sun shines on her. And that is riches of a type that you can't, I don't know. I mean, you can't pay rent with it, but maybe if you can see your way to the money to pay the rent with all that light on you, maybe it'll find its way to you with all that light on you. Be all moth money. Just distracted to you. Okay, silliness. Point is, what is happening that's going to keep shaking us to bits and making us question everything is just going to keep happening. And ramping up and slowing down, you know, it's going to be like a growth process because... What are you stuck? Oh my god. It is stuck. It got like a vacuum seal. We are birthing new processes, and you know, all you have to do is look back at 2024 and realize that nothing is the same anymore. Like, are we going back to the 50s right now? I don't think so. I don't think this is what it looked like. I don't think we've ever had what we are having right now. Like, I definitely think it's new and it's cosmic, man. Anyway, the point is, we're going to be shaken up. And, you know, like any broken, fractured bone, where it heals back stronger. So, you know, maybe we need all of these fracture points to rebuild and make our endoskeleton stronger to withstand the seismic shakes to come. But we can do that. Thank you and good night.